What is up, everyone? This is Sam Antini from the Puck Stops here. Welcome to the podcast. I truly do appreciate you guys tuning in, checking it out, or if this ends up on YouTube, thanks for watching, subscribing, and liking. And if you have any questions, feel free to write down in the comments below if this is on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, well, you can always ask me questions on any social media platform at TPSH_goalie. So today is going to be a very quick episode. I wanted to answer one of the questions I put out on Instagram today. Ask me a question if you want me to answer something for the podcast or in general. And the question was Bauer versus CCM. And I'm going to answer this question a little different than probably what they're expecting and maybe what you would expect after hearing that question. And basically, my response to anybody who ever asked me what gear should they use, what gear is better than other, and all this stuff. Now, I haven't tried all the type of gear that is out there. I would love to try the new Bauer equipment. I would love to try the new Warrior equipment. I'd love to try all the new equipment, as I'm sure most goalies do. But here's my advice for anybody who asks that I truly believe in and I think will hopefully help you guys make your buying decisions. If you are ever questioning which brand to choose, you're asking yourself the wrong question. The question should never be which brand. It should always be about like what feels most comfortable and what do you like, rather than it's CCM or it's Bauer. What do you guys like the look and feel of? You know, at the end of the day, I think if you put Carey Price in a pair of Bauer pads, he's still Carey Price. He's still going to be able to make saves. If you put back in the day Martin Brodeur, whether it was a Heaton set of pads or whatever, it's still Martin Brodeur. He's still going to play well regardless. Yes, certain brands have little nuances and things about them. And maybe some brands you want to support because of where they're made. Now, that's a whole different situation. But from a standpoint of what equipment am I going to play the best in, well, that shouldn't matter what name is on that pad. It just matters how you feel. Does it fit you properly? Is it the right size? And at the end of the day, does it look good? Do you like the look of it? Because I think a big part of everything in life is having confidence. And sometimes people may put their looks when they're a goalie as a priority. And if is a big thing to you and you want to look good, well, then get pads that look good. But at the end of the day, I would never recommend a specific brand over another brand just because of the name. I hope that makes sense. I would really want to ensure that anybody who's buying equipment, just because somebody else wears it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the right pads for you. I'm wearing CCM E-Flexes because I was going to go and buy Brian's. That was my intention. I wanted to buy Brian pads because I tried them. A fellow beer league goalie had them and he let me try them. And I was like, I really like how well I can slide in these, because I was playing with Reebok 7Ks, if you guys remember from my first few videos. And, sorry, I'm just reversing, so I'm trying to pay attention. But anyway, so I was playing with my Reebok 7Ks, which weren't designed for sliding. And when I eventually was going to go and try new pads, I was thinking, well, Brian's looked like they slide well, so I tried them out and oh my gosh, could I slide? Like, from what I was used to, all of a sudden now I can go from one side of the crease to the other with like little to no effort. I was actually over pushing and I was sliding way out of the net. It was actually quite fun. But when I went into the store, I did initially say, well, Carey Price uses E-Flexes. Let me just try them on. And actually, like, that was the initial idea that, well, if he wears them, then they must be good. But that wasn't why I bought them. Once I tried them on, I was like, oh my gosh, like, these actually feel really good. And I'm not saying anything against the Brian pads that I was trying. It was like the Sub-Zero 2s or something. I just really felt that the pads were like meatier. Like, there was more to the pad. And it was the same price, and I felt like the pads were just going to last longer because they were thicker, because they had the knee rolls on them. Like, at the time, I was still like old school thinking about how pads should be. And so I was like, these look like they're going to last me a lot longer, and I don't plan on buying new pads after those. Fast forward about a year or whatever, and I buy the new brown ones. But with that being said, as soon as I saw the brown ones, I just really liked the look of them. And because they were the next version up from the CCMs that I already had, I was just like, well, I know that I'm going to like them because they're probably going to feel the same that I'm used to right now. And that's the only reason I bought them. I never went into CCM because I was like, I love CCM. They're the best brand out there, and this is what I want. It seriously was, I put them on. I didn't even try I didn't even try Bowers at that time. I literally just put them on my leg, and it's like, these feel good. Or actually, no. I did put on the Bauer S1s or 1Ss, and when I felt them, I'm like, these things feel cheap. Like, they honestly, for like $2,000, I'm like, they just feel cheap. And I don't know if that was just, again, my old school mentality, but I wanted a pad that was thick, that I felt like it was going to last me for 10 years if I needed it to. And I really just liked the look and feel of the CCM. So that's kind of what I went with. So if any of you are debating whether or not you want to buy a set of pads because of the brand name or some other goalie's wearing them, that's okay to start looking at those type of pads. But at the end of the day, go into the store, try them on, and see what you feel comfortable in. I went into the store with the intentions of buying Brian's, and I left with CCMs. And that's all that happened. I wasn't like loyal to any brand. I just ended up trying on a different set, and I had a good feeling about those pads. And I'm like, great. And all new pads nowadays slide about the same amount. But perhaps I'll do a video one day testing how good each pad can slide. If I can get my hands on a bunch of different pads, I will do a slide test where I'll literally do a butterfly slide, one push, and see how far I get with each pad and see if there is truly a difference between them. At the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that people need to focus on is just learning the fundamentals on how to play, and the equipment is just an afterthought. Like, anybody can play in any equipment if they have the skills and the fundamentals on how to play. I hope that makes sense. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast and got value out of it. If you asked that question, thank you so much. It was a very good question. And I know that I didn't really answer it, letting you know which one I prefer. But at the end of the day, as long as I have pads on, I don't care. As long as I'm on the ice, that's all that matters to me. I don't care what I'm wearing. Yes, it'd be nice if it matched, but at the end of the day, I just love playing goalie, and I have no personal preference as to any brand. I have no loyalty to any of them. I've never been sponsored, nor do I think I'll be sponsored by a brand. If I do, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if anybody out there wants to sponsor me, then that's cool. But again, I don't care what brand it is. I just like having pads on my legs, gloves on my hands, and stopping pucks. So anyways, guys, I truly appreciate all of you for watching or listening, depending on however you consume this. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend.